I've made a lot of different sizes. Usually the remnant will determine the size, but sometimes when I had an actual whole yard or 2 yards to work with, I'd measure based on the item that was going to go in the bag. So this bag, finished, measures about 10 inches by 15, and that will fit many books. Most of the time when I'm sewing, I'm using only a 1/2 inch seam to make the most out of the fabric. Sometimes I would just use a zigzag stitch and not worry about the finished edge. Other times, first turn it over just 1/4 of an inch and sew that down, and then be turning it over again and sewing it for the ribbon channel. So the first thing I've done is turn my fabric so I've got right sides together, and I'm going to sew the side seams. So for most of these bags, what I've also done then is get myself a good edge to make the channel with. So just using my fingers to press out some of the side, just a little couple inches down on the side seams, turning it over a bit, 1/4 of an inch, just so it's a little more finished, even though that's really on the inside. When I get to this next side seam, again, want to make sure that both of the edges of the seam are down flat when they get to the... I've chosen this width ribbon to use on this bag, and I'm going to measure out 2 times the width of the bag plus 1/2 a width to be sure that the ends are available for pulling through. I take the ribbon and fold it in half, kind of getting myself a little crease so I know where that is. And then I put that crease on one of the side seams far enough down that when I fold the fabric over, I'll be creating a channel for the ribbon without catching the ribbon in it. I'm also going to anchor it in place with a perpendicular stitch right here. And then I'll make a right turn and do 1/2 of the ribbon. Again, making sure that I have enough turned over that the ribbon is not getting caught in my stitching. Now when I get over to the other side, again making sure that my seam edges are kind of pressed down, I take the fabric and along the seam, or take the ribbon, I'm sorry, and along the seam or just past it, I turn the ribbon perpendicular so I have that edge out, and turn my channel, the part I'm making, into a channel, and that way I know the fabric is the ribbon is not getting caught, and I'm going to stop just short of this seam and do my back stitch. Now just to kind of keep this ribbon from getting caught up in the next part, I'm going to pin it so it stays in place. out of way when I come back around, because now coming back to the side for the other half of the ribbon, only this time, because of the way I have it sitting on the table, I'm going to need to start at the end where the ribbon comes out. So I'll start on this side by being sure that the ribbon is tucked up in there, and once I'm sure I have it up in there, then I'm going to pin it in place again so it doesn't get caught in my sewing, and get it sewn in place. The first thing that I do after I get the pins out of it is do a tug on each of the sides of the drawstring so that I'm sure I didn't catch it anywhere. Turn the bag, and except for removing the threads up here at the end, the bag is done and ready to use.